Your heart needs to be strong to keep up. Flora for a strong heart today. For over 25 years, the World Transplant Games Federation has been staging international sporting events for transplant athletes in order to demonstrate the physical success of transplant surgery and to raise awareness of the need to increase organ donation.
So tell us a little bit about the World Transplant Games and how you are involved.
The World Transplant Games is a very unique event because it caters for people that have had organ transplants. Anybody who has had that can come and compete in the games.
And Hayley, how did you discover the event?
I'm a dialysis and transplant nurse, and I've always known about the Transplant Sports Association. And when I had a kidney transplant, I was still in hospital. I immediately joined the Transplant Sports Association because I've been involved in sports my whole life. And through my joining the Transplant Sports Association, he became involved and he became the chairman and I'm the secretary, and so together we take this wagon.
What are your hopes and expectations as an SA citizen but also as an organ donor recipient of the effects of the Games in South Africa?
My personal goals is to again win medals for South Africa. If for the other athletes is also to let them celebrate life and also to showcase South Africa for the rest of the world. But mainly I think is to make the South African public aware of organ donation and transplantation and the need for that.
What do you think is the most special thing about the World Transplant Games?
The wonderful thing for me is to actually look down and see that every athlete that is participating actually has a story to tell and has had a second chance because of somebody else making a decision to donate their organs.
Stanley Hankerman is another athlete who was given a second chance at life and sports thanks to a heart transplant.
So Stan, you've always been an active person. Why the interest now in the World Transplant Games?
In 2001, I was being active in the mountains in Swellendam, doing what I love most, hiking, and I suffered a massive heart attack. And that changed my life completely. I made the shift from being active to being inactive, and that inactivity lasted 6 years until I had a heart transplant. And so my participation in the World Transplant Games is my way of showing gratitude for the second chance.
What is the current situation like in South Africa when it comes to organ donation?
Sadly, the current situation is not good. South Africans are not very positive generally towards organ donation. And so we really have a very, very dire situation in terms of people on waiting lists for organ transplants.
What is your experience of the Games? The vibe and the camaraderie must be amazing.
You can't explain to people what it's like to be in an environment where everybody else has had similar experiences. The one thing that I will never forget is the fact that for that 1 week, I didn't have to explain anything to anybody. Transplantation brings people together, irrespective of what their political persuasion or religious orientation. And our team is truly a rainbow team in the true sense of the word, not just in terms of the color mix, but in terms of how we relate to each other.
9-year-old liver transplant recipient Robbie Lopsha is one of the youngest athletes in the South African Transplant Games team and will be representing his country in 4 swimming events. His friends and family are incredibly proud of his achievements.
So Carl, what was it like when you got that call to say that Robbie had a liver?
Panic is the first thing that sets in. We actually got the call at about 12 o'clock at night. And it's a real, you've been praying all the time that you get this, but now when you get the liver, it's the time that actually realize there's a good chance that everything doesn't go smoothly. So it was sheer fear to get through all of that.
This is the first time SA has children in its Transplant Games team, and Robbie is one of just 4 child participants heading to the event.
What would your message be to people out there when it comes to organ donation?
There should be organ donors because many children at the hospital don't have organs and there's a long list and some of them are dying and they need a liver to have a second chance at life.
If you're in Durban, support our athletes at the World Transplant Games. For all the event information, visit WTG2013.com. Your heart needs to be strong to keep up. Flora for a strong heart today.